caught feeding to her. My wife's getting ready.
Good catch. So these two are some of our puppies. We have two other puppies, but they are off site. They're off exhibit right now, unfortunately. If we see them, I'll try to point them out for you guys. But these guys are super sweet. Denali here is our 8-month-old Alaskan wolf. And his family, interestingly, was found at a research site in Alaska. Now, what I mean by that is they found out that the U.S. Navy was testing their thermal regulation, doing experiments on how they can handle the cold. So that was not bad. What was bad afterwards was that they handed out some of the wolves to people as pets, which I know, as cute as these guys look, not a pet. They are wild animals. So to start off, I do want to let you guys know, kind of humble brag, Ryan may have said it when he's talking about the boxes, but we are an AZA certified facility. So what that means is all the stuff you see here today, we're held to the same standard of animal well-being and care such as the San Diego Zoo. So we are at the top of the top. So a little pat on the back for ourselves. Thank you, thank you. We can also do these educational programs like we're doing here. And just so you guys know, fair warning, as you may have heard already with Ryan, it's not a fun topic, education, right? Especially conservation. There's a lot of bad stuff happening in our country and the world itself. So I'm not going to shy away from topics like that. So just so you're aware, if you are sensitive to animal materials, I won't be offended if you go la 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 la, denial, denial, denial. But I am going to talk about these things. So that's your warning right now. But before I go on to that, again, I want to brag about our facility real quick, as we can also breed and get critically endangered species here. One of those being Cora, our swift fox on the top of the hill. If you guys saw her on the way in, she's adorable. If not, go check her out afterwards. But we also have two critically endangered wolf species, the Mexican wolves in the southwest right here, and the red wolves. Now, Mexican wolves only have about 600 left in the entire world, and you will see two of them on the trail today. Now, sadly for the American red wolf, don't feel bad if you've never heard of that animal. It is the rarest wolf species, rarest canid, which is the family of wolves, dogs, coyotes, and jackals. It is the rarest canid in the world. Only about 19 exist in the wild today. And they're only found in the southeast United States and North Carolina, so you'll only find them in about a few counties right there. So don't feel bad if you've never heard of them. Not many people from the actual state have ever heard of them. So you're some of a handful of people that will ever get to see this animal in the world. So we're very excited to show this off to you guys, as they're only found in the United States and nowhere else on the planet. These are the red wolves. Yep, so we have two of them. We have a male and a female. We have a male named Van Gogh. It's because he lost part of his ear when he was a puppy. He's very social, though. He actually comes up to the fence and says hi to you guys. So you'll get to see him. And we have Shawnee. She's the female. She's way shy around humans. I won't force her to come up if she doesn't want to. But if you see her, she's got little floppy ears. I call her Dumbo because she looks like she's about to fly away. So she's very cute. They both are. So you guys will get to see the one of the rarest wild animals in the world, basically. Largest species of the gray wolf. So male gray wolves, on average, are about 100 to 130. However, they have seen individuals of his size get up to 150 pounds. So while they aren't big, they're actually not that big. He's only about 100 pounds. Although I've had people look me dead in the eyes and think he is 1,500 pounds. Don't know where they get that number from, because that's a cow or a horse, but that's not a wolf. But they also think they're about 7 feet tall. That's Twilight in Game of Thrones, and those are lies. Sorry to tell you. Now Makui, who's a slighter colored wolf on the right over here, she is a grizzled wolf. Grizzled is referring to her coat color, and that's the most common coat color that the wolves will have. So that's that gray look that we're used to. But Kenai, who's another gray wolf, is not.
Here's a red fox. They make a lot of holes. They get fed here mice. And we just learned they can live 16 years old when they're in captivity. The wolf tour is starting soon.
Babies are called kids with a T. These two have this hole in colors are all to themselves. The two-story condo has rooms for rent for roads. So you can already pass along. Has market's real hot right now. It's connected to the Sky Fox Freeway that you guys are standing under, which at 13 feet high and 60 feet long is the longest and tallest covered wooden bridge in the state of Colorado. There are not many of them here in Colorado. We're going to have that one. These two do like to go out there and themselves out from time to time, but it is blocked off halfway into the other end because that enclosure behind you guys used to be home to our swift foxes. Vacant swift foxes go into their territory. Red foxes are very territorial, and swift foxes are actually very small. They're the smallest canine species native to North America, about 5.5 to 6 pounds, or 5.5 to 7 pounds fully grown. So these two go over there, they would have bullied our swift foxes out of their enclosure. So the Swifts no longer live over there. We're actually redoing that enclosure for Zach and Zoe. Not very long, about 7 months old. They go through what's called a molt. New coat comes in, and they're killed immediately to harvest that fur. This is because they're kept in such stressful conditions, they've actually been known to self-cannibalize and self-mutilate to the extent those coats are worthless. People won't want to buy them anymore. Now Zoe up here was actually intended to be a pellet for somebody's fur coat. It takes about 50 to 80 red foxes to make a full-length fur coat, depending on which parts of the foxes that they use. But clearly she's escaped that fate and will be here with us for the rest of her life. And Mr. Zach down here was actually somebody's pet. Red foxes are not good pets.
The females are more dominant than males are, believe it or not. So the ones who run the pack are actually going to be the mobs. So, sorry, dads. Now in here we have Issa and Arenda next to the puppies. These are two of my personal favorites. Don't tell the other wolves I said that though. But these two, Arenda was our most recent ambassador wolf. So, like I talked to you about Rain and Raven, she used to come out of her enclosure and meet large groups of people. She actually went down to Colorado Springs and met 150 people at a time. That's terrifying to me. Must be terrifying for a wolf, but she loved doing it. Sadly, at 2 years old, wolves do sexually and mentally mature. So basically, what that means is, that's when they go into breeding season, go into heat. But we don't breed our gray wolves here. One, for space. We can only house 19 wolves. We have 19 right now. So if we have to have more, we have to talk with USDA, US Fish and Wildlife. It's a whole pain in the butt situation, so we just keep it at 19. But also, if we want to release wolves back to the wild, what's happening with habitat loss and everything happening in Idaho and Montana, it'd be in vain. They'd be killed almost immediately because they can kill puppies. So why would we do that? So unfortunately, as much as we love to do that, we don't do that with these guys, except for potentially red wolves and Mexican wolves, but I'll talk more about that later. But the other thing that happened with her is she mentally matured. So in her brain, something clicked, something called neophobia. Neophobia just means a fear of new things or things she was once comfortable with. So she used to meet, again, that large crowd, did not want to do that anymore. She used to like her leash and harness, did not like that anymore. And other things that she used to like, we don't force her to come out anymore. So if she's uncomfortable, I'm not going to. But unfortunately, we just had to make the call and send her on to the next life. But we actually have, if you hear these wind chimes, these are not for her, but we do have wind chimes of her that when the wind blows, she's still howling with us. That's what all the wind chimes represent. Wolves that have passed that are still here with us in spirit. But go as long as you can, be quiet afterwards, and hopefully we'll get a response in return. It is pretty windy, so obviously give it your all. They've also been counting you all, so if you're not howling, they will know. I'm going to turn this off so I scream at you. Alright, everyone ready?
Yep.
On the count of 3, give it all you got. 1, 2, 3. Thank you guys so much. Let's give them a round of applause. Yourselves a round of applause.